This episode of The Reasons I'm Broke is brought to you by Audible.
Sign up today and get a free 30-day trial along with your choice of an audiobook. That's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
Over 150,000 titles to choose from, all available on your Kindle, Android, and iPhone.
Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
For any new brokettes out there, the way we do the show is we have some news first, ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. And then we follow it up with our reviews for the week. Image, Marvel, DC, Kaboom, pretty much every company you can think of, although mostly DC because we are huge on Batman, as many brokettes already know. And we actually have a huge amount of movie news ranging from Wonder Woman, Batman v Superman, that is probably the biggest thing, Suicide Squad, and of course, Star Wars Episode 7.
And that is actually what our first bit of news is. Now, you said the biggest one was Batman v Superman. That may have been for you, but my Facebook page blew up over this. The Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens trailer, number 2.
Second one, remember this film does release this year, which is December 18th, 2015, so it makes sense that we got a second trailer now. Mm-hmm. And since you are the Disney person, I'm not huge on Star Wars. We're both bigger on Star Trek than we are Star Wars. As far as SW goes, I like Episode 5 the best.
What was that one?
That is the Empire Strikes Back.
What happened in that one?
That's the big reveal about Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's dad.
Oh, yes, and that line that everybody messes up.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm with it now. I don't remember what happened. I remember, were they called the Ewoks? The little bear things that were kick-ass? Mm-hmm. That's all I remember from them.
So what do you think about the trailer? I'm sure most brokettes have seen it at this point. It is available in HD on YouTube, pretty much anywhere you can find it. Newsarama Bleeding cool.
I thought it was really cool. Probably something that I'll go and see, even though I'm not big on Star Wars. I was watching it the whole time, though, and I'm like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that?
See, I was going, that is the new Darth Vader, has the exact same design. That is the new Boba Fett. That's the character that just looks cool, but everyone's going to like for some reason. And look, there's Chewie and fucking
Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones and Chewie. That's what broke my internet Facebook, though, because everybody was posting that picture of Han Solo and Chewie, old-ass Han Solo.
And not so old-ass Chewie.
Yeah. They should have made him gray, too. That'd be real cool.
That's what people were saying, but then the Star Wars nerds were saying that, well, they don't age like we do, so they wouldn't be gray.
Calm down, nerds.
See, for me, calm down everyone, because they're not real anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like, Harrison Ford is real, and he ages in real time.
But it'd be like Batman Beyond with a young-looking Bruce.
Well, no, that's different.
No. They're not real, Dan.
Because Bruce is still a human and ages like we do.
Right, but calm down, because they're not real.
No. Those aliens aren't real. You're right. So we don't know how they age. It doesn't matter.
How do we know Han Solo's an alien?
Well, he's a human. I guess alien to them, but we know how people age.
Well, just calm down. They don't even exist.
So they show TIE fighters. They show all the other kinds of ships. They show... Yeah, go ahead.
I did laugh, though, because they play that music in the beginning. Which, yeah, it's probably Star Wars music. I mean, definitely Star Wars music. But all I heard was the music from Muppet Treasure Island. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Because it's exactly the same. And some brokehead out there, a light bulb just went off, and now they hate me because it's all they're gonna hear. Every time.
There is a bit of the trailer that has Luke Skywalker. I think it's taken from the original movies. That's what my manager was saying when we were watching it today. He's huge on Star Wars. And it does show a hint of Luke Skywalker with his metal hand, the right hand.
Yes.
And he is speaking of what it seems like is his daughter. And that's who the main character appears to be in the movie. And her sidekick, of course, is the Black Stormtrooper that we saw in the very first teaser. We don't have any of these names yet. But the first time that a female protagonist has been the main character in a Star Wars movie, I think that's great. It's a great change. It fits this new trilogy because we do know that things are going to be vastly different moving forward with the future Star Wars movies.
I'll name them all.
What's Luke's daughter's name?
Lukeisha.
And the Black Stormtrooper?
Jeff. Lukeisha and Jeff.
What about the villain with the sword, the lightsaber with the hilts?
Better Fett.
See, I thought that was Darth Vader. Then what's the Boba Fett-ish character?
Oh no, that's Boba Fett.
Okay. And the new Darth Vader?
The new Darth Vader. Can that be a girl too?
Yes.
Darth Vader.
You've got some inside info, apparently.
Yes, I do. I'm a Disney person, so...
That you are.
That was in my newsletter.
So you know there's going to be some Star Wars land, of course, coming with these brand new movies.
Oh, I'm sure.
And they have so many different designs to the Stormtroopers where I'm like, okay, that's going to be a toy, and that's going to be a toy. This is going to be a character in one of the Disney Infinity video games.
This is going to be a kid's costume.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Another meet and greet with this Stormtrooper, the black one. There's a Stormtrooper with a white Stormtrooper. There's a Stormtrooper with the designs on the helmet, the slightly red one.
We just had Star Wars weekends too, so that's probably why they brought out the trailer. Now it all makes sense.
All ties in. Disney always cohesively puts everything together.
Have you seen Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers dance for Star Wars weekends though?
No.
Oh man, it's so cool. I'm going to have to show you the video.
Next, we have 3 bits of DC movie news. First one being Wonder Woman director Michelle McLaren and Warner Brothers have actually departed ways.
Warner Brothers said in a statement, given creative differences, Warner Brothers and Michelle McLaren have decided not to move forward with the plans to develop and direct Wonder Woman together.
Do you think this is a bad sign of the movie itself? It is still a couple of years away, 2 years away. Mm-hmm. But if they can't lock down due to creative differences, which could or could not be, I don't know what the real reasoning is.
Right.
Creative differences tells me that's like the generic term, the go-to thing to say when a director leaves a project. Mm-hmm. It's always creative differences. Do you think that's actually what it was? Do you think she disagreed with the script?
There's absolutely no way of telling. The thing about Warner Brothers is they know what they're doing. I don't feel they're going to give us a bad movie.
Some broquettes would disagree with you because they're not the ones with the 7 Marvel movies.
Okay, well, whatever. They're not real, so calm down. But I don't feel that they're going to give us a bad movie.
I see what you're saying. They have 3 Batman movies under their belts.
Right.
They have the Superman one, the Batman v Superman, which is going to make a shit ton of money. Wonder Woman, I feel if there's a lot of Wonder Woman fans out there, and they're all thirsty. They're all waiting for a Wonder Woman show, a Wonder Woman movie, a cartoon, whatever. And I feel like they would flock straight to it. And with her debut in Batman v Superman, that's only going to add fuel to that fire that a lot of these fans have. So it is thankfully early enough. At least they didn't drop out of this director like months before filming, because then they would have really been in trouble. But this far ahead, they've actually already replaced her with a new director. While this would have been McLaren's film debut, among other shows, she had previously done television work on Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, and Game of Thrones. All big projects, but they were all TV shows. None of them were films. Almost immediately, again, Patty Jenkins, who directed episodes of Entourage, Arrested Development, and the movie Monster, which starred Academy Award winner Charlize Theron, replaced Michelle McLaren.
Now, you say almost immediately. This is exactly how our conversation went. So he's scrolling through, I'm cooking breakfast or some nonsense, and he goes, oh shit, they got rid of the director for Wonder Woman. Oh no, they got a new one. That was pretty much how it went.
Any movie studio has a list of directors that they go right down, and they're like, we were in between these, we've reached an agreement with her, not with her. Maybe McLaren was a little bit cheaper or fit the art direction that they wanted to go with, but now they have a brand new one. Monster was big years ago with Charlize Theron, who was an amazing actress. Hopefully she can do something very similar to Gal Gadot and Wonder Woman.
There's no word yet on whether or not this will affect Wonder Woman's June 23rd, 2017 release date.
Again, way too early. We'll wait for official release date from Warner Brothers. First, let's get Batman v Superman out of the way. And let's not forget the movie that everyone's almost not really forgetting about, but it's still there, and I feel it's going to be a sleeper hit, if anything, because Batman v Superman is right before it, and that is the Suicide Squad film.
Yes. So, our news this week is Jared Leto has put up another image of himself as the Joker on Snapchat.
Some people think this is something he's doing without Warner Brothers' permission, and I don't think so. I don't think he's that stupid.
Warner Brothers kills people.
As we'll soon talk about.
Yes.
But yes, we have the image of the Jared Leto as the Joker in mid-makeup, it seems, because there's no white on the face, there's nothing around the eyes either. And let's go ahead and describe to Broquettes what Jared Leto actually looks like if they hadn't seen it yet.
As the Joker?
Yes. It
was not a good... He doesn't know how to use Snapchat. If that was Snapchat, he's got no idea. Because With Snapchat, you either take really good pictures or really terrible pictures. Like, making yourself look terrible. He just looked terrible.
Well, he's got the green hair.
Yes.
He's got the shorter hair, of course, very similar to Greg Capullo's design in the New 52. And he's got the red lipstick, no eyebrows, which I think is close to what the Dark Knight Returns had.
Okay.
Although a Broquette, I'm sure, can correct me on that. Regardless, I do think this is looking very much like a New 52 Greg Capullo or a Dark Knight Returns Joker, which would make sense given that we are getting the Dark Knight Returns Batman in this film continuity.
I would agree. I'm sure that's what they're going for, and I'm sure in post-production with filters and everything, it will look different. It looks rough right now, but they'll make it work.
They will. And once we get, like you said, the official image of Jared Leto in full makeup and the suit as the Joker, I think everyone will kind of look at it and think, okay, so this is definitely a brand new Joker, one we haven't seen before. And once that trailer hits, it'll probably be something like when Heath Ledger's hit, where everyone suddenly became a huge on Joker. So
yes. Everybody said, I liked Heath Ledger from the beginning. Okay.
Not as much negative press on Jared Leto as the Joker as there was with Heath. That was insane. So I think that's only good for the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, hopefully. So here's the big news that this guy sitting across from me has watched like 17,000 times.
Of course I have.
Because he was so excited. On Wednesday, Zack Snyder, whose Twitter handle is @ZackSnyder, tweeted a 20-second teaser for a special IMAX event for April 20th.
This was a teaser to a teaser trailer,
yes.
basically. A full trailer was supposed to debut at this event, along with a special introduction by Snyder, so that would have been this coming Monday. And you would have had to get your tickets through an IMAX website. All throughout the country, there's a couple of different IMAX theaters, and you'd be one of the first to see the full trailer. But it doesn't seem like that is the case anymore.
Because of the internet.
Yes.
So earlier today, we're recording on Thursday, a 30-second leaked foreign trailer released on Twitter page @MuDragon.
Yeah, that was @MuDragon. If you try to go to twitter.com/MuDragon, it no longer exists. It is gone. I retweeted it a couple of times so Broquettes can see it, and hopefully they did. And Warner Brothers immediately took it down.
They took that man down. They didn't just take his Twitter down.
They erased his life.
He no longer exists. So yes, 30-second teaser, and what happened in it?
I'm going to give the warning right here. If you want to wait till the actual full HD trailer releases, and maybe it did at this point, because it pretty much went up online in low resolution. Maybe at this point Warner Brothers said, fuck it, let's just release it as is so everyone can see it, because they've already seen it anyway. But otherwise, skip ahead about 2 minutes, and by then we won't have been talking about the trailer. But in the 30 seconds, it is Batman from that Comic-Con footage that we saw last year in the Dark Knight Returns armor when he fought Superman. He's looking up at the sky. It doesn't have the bat signal shot like before on the other one. But it's Superman and Batman staring each other down, and Batman asks him, tell me, do you bleed? Superman comes down, hits the ground. Not like he fell, but he's like upset and he's getting ready to fight him. And it just flashes with the Batman v Superman logo with Batman's voice again saying, you will. Tell me, do you bleed? You will. And I'm like, yes!
See, I was reading the screen where it goes, Dígame.
The foreign subtitles.
Yes, it was wonderful.
That's another way I was able to kind of figure out what they were, because the audio was not the best on the video. I had to turn it up all the way and put it right up to my ear to hear Ben Affleck's voice. So before we talk about the full leaked trailer in a minute, Ben Affleck's voice as Batman. Your thoughts first.
I think it's awesome. Obviously, you can hear, he's got the suit on, so it's digitalized just a little bit.
Yes.
Obviously, trying to hide his voice as Bruce Wayne. I hope he changes his voice for Bruce Wayne anyway. So when we actually hear him outside of that suit, it will probably be different. But I think he captured it great. It's very deep and raspy, and, if we can't have Conroy, I guess, whatever.
It sounds like an angry Batman, definitely an older Batman, something very different than what we had in any of the movies, any of the cartoons. This is original. The closest thing that it is actually, again, to the Dark Knight Returns cartoon, actually, with Weller as Batman, except this is a deeper, like you mentioned, more digital voice to it. Not like Iron Man or anything, but...
Right.
something where he has maybe a device in his cowl that actually disguises his voice, kind of like they do on Arrow. Mm-hmm. And it sounds really good. And this is something that we talked about months ago that we were hoping they'd go with, because with Christian Bale, they still tweak the voice in post-production, but it is just Batman speaking.
They needed to tweak that a little bit more. Where are the other drugs going?
No, Batman Begins voice Batman was fine. It's when Chris Nolan went into post-production in The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises that he changed it too much, and that's what people made fun of. Go back and watch Batman Begins, and that is the perfect Batman voice in that series. Because Christian Bale was fine, and that's the way he kept doing it in the other movies. But they blamed Christian for those two movies, and it was actually, again, Nolan who said, yeah, this is actually, we took the voice and changed it more. That's who is at fault, I guess. Although it never bothered me to the point where I made fun of it, as a lot of people do.
I still make fun of it. It's really funny.
So I want to hear your thoughts, Broquettes, first. What do you think of Ben Affleck's voice as the Batman? Obviously, we think it's great, we enjoy it, and it is something very different. So now on to the full trailer. If someone skipped ahead and it is 2 minutes now, I apologize. Keep skipping ahead. So the full trailer, still in leaked quality, so it's not in HD, did go up through Vimeo.
It's probably already gone now. All of Vimeo is gone now.
Taken over by Warner Brothers. Just that one message. This page does not exist. Copyright Warner Brothers.
Yep. So this I thought was really cool too. Much darker than I was expecting.
I already thought it was going to be dark. It's as dark as I expected, honestly.
Oh, no, not me. Not at all. Like, I figured there would be, oh, Superman killed a bunch of people. Let's, like, hate him. But there's, like, cults and shit. It's real scary.
Well, the opening has a voiceover from several characters, including Lex Luthor. I don't know if any of you picked up on that, but you did hear Lex Luthor near the very beginning. And it is basically them discussing that when people follow something as powerful as Superman, that power gets corrupt, or the people get corrupt, and there's a lot of danger there. There is a shot of Superman as a statue, and that is the worshipping that Lex Luthor and the rest of them are talking about.
Well, there were, like, people behind him in masks, too, and reaching for him in the sky, and there's a lot of crazy stuff.
See, in the Man of Steel movie, I understand that people know that Superman saved them all, and here they're telling us that they all idolize him. Based on the alien invasion and on him killing Zod, I thought that people would be a little more afraid of him than they would be idolizing him.
I think there are some who do, though, because you also see in the trailer on his statue they've written false god.
That's true.
So I think we're going to see two very distinct groups. Some that are idolizing and worshiping him, and the others that, you know, want to see him destroyed. And
maybe there'll be a scene in which both groups are fighting each other, as Batman and Superman are fighting each other, and then Ash can run in between them and turn into stone as they both strike him at the same time. And then we can hear,
brother, my brother, and everybody's got to have tears that go into Ash. Tell me, what are we fighting for? We've got, this is the best movie. And then Pikachu can be like, Pika!
And then they form the Justice League.
And then in the end, Mewtwo needs to fly away.
Wait, Mewtwo's not in this.
He's in this now.
You mean Superman? Superman flies off with his clones.
Super Mewtwo Man.
So those are the things. We also, the trailer then cut to a shot of Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, obviously, and he's staring at the Batman suit, which we ended up being wrong about, because Warner Brothers did show the Affleck suit, and it was a light gray with a black logo with a black cowl. But the one we see in the movie, in the trailer, it looks like it's all black. And we don't get that lighter gray on the outfit, so that obviously could have been a change that they decided to do later on.
Either way, it looks great.
It looks great in motion, because when we get the voiceover of Alfred, which is obviously Scar from The Lion King, and don't forget Die Hard.
Batman, I killed your father. No! And then Ash has to wonder in between, wait.
He makes a lot of peace in this movie. Good job, Ash Ketchum. And Alfred is just, I guess he's talking to Bruce Wayne. Maybe he could be talking to Clark Kent. We don't know. Obviously, it never works out as it does in the trailers. But he is referring to Superman, and it looks like he is encouraging Batman to stop Superman, because he is saying this is how men become cruel. This is how the fever begins. And essentially tell him, stop that fucking alien guy, because if the people keep following him, if these people keep fearing him, that's gonna create this rift in the world, and instead everything needs to be united or stopped, which is what Batman goes out and goes after Superman for, allegedly. We don't know, this is all speculation based on this 2-minute trailer.
Batman seems like he's kind of being unreasonable.
By stopping Superman?
I feel like Batman observes more than he just barge in and be like, I get you were trying to save everybody, but now I'm taking you down.
Well, remember, Batman doesn't know who Superman is at this point, so he probably wants to...
Oh, Batman knows who Superman is.
Well, wouldn't he want to have a contingency plan? Which it looks like Superman is going to be out of control, so wouldn't he stop him then?
Okay, if Superman's out of control, yes. If he just barges in and he goes, you're not doing anything right now, but I'm going to take you down, that's not very Batman.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, good.
I think at some point maybe people will be put in danger, or maybe he sees everything that happened to Man of Steel and says, you're too dangerous to have around because these people keep coming after you.
Or maybe he comes in and kissing you. And he's like, nah, I gotta take you down now.
Alfred voiceover, your thought was good. Sounded very Alfred-like.
Yep.
Everything's good.
Of course.
Lex Luthor. At the very beginning of the trailer, he sounded a little bit younger. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to wait and see, what we see in the actual movie.
Agreed.
And finally, Batman in motion with that sequence of Batman staring down Superman and asking him if he bleeds.
Dígame.
Batman in motion looked great. The suit looks shiny. It could be because it was raining at the time, but he's huge. Fucking Batman is bigger than Christian Bale's Batman.
Of course, Batman would be huge.
This is the most comic book Batman we've ever gotten, aside from Mask of the Phantasm, in theaters.
Right. We're going to have to wait and see. I mean, again, this is a trailer. A lot of things change from trailers. There could be scenes that we never even see. They could, get reactions from this trailer and say, actually, I think this will look better with the movie, or this will go better, depending on reactions. It looks great so far, but again, we have, 30 seconds? A little bit more than that, minute?
Well, 2 minutes for the full trailer.
2 minutes.
Yes.
We have 2 minutes. 2 minutes out of 2 hours, 3 hours, a lot can change.
People thought that this was just going to be a 30-second teaser, including myself. I'm like, this movie's like a fucking year away. There's no way we're going to get a 30-second or a full trailer out of this.
Right.
And it turns out I was wrong. We got more than 30 seconds. We got 2 minutes full of dialogue. We see Batman. We see Superman. We see the conflict that it seems to create with the people of Metropolis, maybe the people of Gotham. We got way more than I expected. And now we have a year left. I guess we're going to get another one right before the holidays, and then finally one more early next year before the film actually releases. So I'm thinking 2 more trailers before it releases. This was teaser-ish enough, but it gave us more of, here are the stakes of this movie.
These sillies. What's coming out this week?
Well, next week is Avengers.
Right. So they're getting us talking about their movie, so we won't talk about Avengers. You sillies.
It's all strategy. It is a tragedy, too.
Strategy.
Yeah, strategy. And Disney went, well, here's the Star Wars one also.
Well, that was because of Star Wars weekend.
Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. They could have released it tomorrow or later on this week. Maybe they knew that I don't know. I have no idea how these things work.
Maybe they leaked the trailer from Warner Brothers.
Wouldn't that be kind of fucked up?
People are dead because of Disney.
So let's pretend at the time, because the official one hasn't released yet. So let's pretend that they don't release it until Monday when it's supposed to actually show up. You are Warner Brothers right now.
Yes.
So you put on your executive hat, your WB hat. It's got the big, the Bugs Bunny on it.
Why can't I have the WB frog? I miss him.
Fine, you can have the WB frog. I can have the Bugs Bunny.
The WB.
What do? You see that this was already... You've killed the Twitter guy.
Yes. Murdered him.
You've taken down Vimeo.
Murdered him too.
Thousands of people have already seen this trailer.
Yes.
Now. The crappy non-HD version.
Yes.
Do you release the high definition one?
Probably not yet. I would keep taking them down because that makes more people post them, and then more people see them, and then they start posting things like, see this fast before Warner Brothers takes it down. And I'm like, yeah, see that. And then I just keep taking stuff down. And then after Avengers releases, then I post the HD one.
Well, either way, that's not going to happen because the IMAX one goes first.
Oh.
But now
I'd take that down too.
Well, now that the IMAX people aren't really getting anything special, so to say, because they've seen the regular version online, do you do something different for them now? Do you show an additional 30 seconds? I mean, what can you do? You can't cancel all these
life
IMAX
sucks.
screenings.
Too bad.
Just do a regular one?
Yeah. What movie were they seeing in IMAX to see this?
Well, I think it's just a regular event that you go, you click on it, and then you have a special time at 7 o'clock on Monday, and then you see the trailer.
Well, then, yeah, you at least wait for them to see it in HD first.
And then release the HD one,
And
even
then,
though
yes.
this other one's online?
Because, would you still pay $5 to go see that in HD? If something popped up, like you saw the shitty one, and then it popped up on your computer and it says for $5 you can see this in HD, would you not click on it?
I don't know. I think I'd just wait till Tuesday or Monday and watch it for free online. That's probably what I'd do. As much as I like Batman, especially if I have this to hold me over until then.
People are crazy.
They are. I would... it's a tough fucking sell because... to me, I would just release it online. Like, put it out, it's out there. Give them the full version, just like they did with Star Wars and Disney. Remember that one went up early? And,
yes.
And they were like, here you go, here it is, everywhere.
But then you don't create demand for it. If a lot of people are sneaking Kinder Eggs into the country and the country went, here, everybody gets Kinder Eggs, would you really want that Kinder Egg that badly?
I guess not, but with Star Wars it worked. Like, they released it and then everyone kept talking about it.
Because it's Disney.
You can't just say because it's Disney and that's it.
That's going to be my answer to everything. Like, Kelly, there's ants. How'd they get here? Because it's Disney.
All right, well, because it's Batman. Won't that get people talking already?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about it now.
I mean, I just think when it's forbidden, how many more people go to look for it? How long did you search trying to find another one after you saw the first one was down?
5 minutes. I knew someone would have. I know how to look for these things for like the last hour.
But I mean, if there was just an HD one available, you wouldn't have searched and brought so much attention to it.
I guess not. I did retweet it and I did put it up on Facebook, several Facebook pages.
And what did you retweet it with? Like, this will be down soon.
Retweeted it with hashtag. Well, yeah, and hashtag Batman v Superman.
Exactly.
Oh no, not Batman v Superman because I didn't want WB to find it, so I just did like a hashtag Batman. Hashtag Do you bleed?
Yeah, but see, if it were readily available, then not everybody would be jumping right now to see it.
Right. I guess we'll find out by the next episode of The Reasons I'm Broke what Warner Brothers ended up doing and whether or not we agreed or disagreed with their decision.
Yep.
Regardless, if you want to see it, it is still available right now on YouTube, on Vimeo, through various sources. You can also see the screenshots on bleedingcool.com. Should be on Newsarama very soon. But if you did see it and you want to share your thoughts with us, again, that's twitter.com/reasonsimbroke.
Batman v Superman is still set to release on March 26, 2016.
All right, now we have a bit of comic book news. This has to do with DC, which have announced that a comic miniseries spin-off to the Arkham Knight game will be released this year.
It will debut on July 29th. Batman Arkham Knight Genesis will be written by Peter J. Tomasi and drawn by Alison Borges.
Peter J. Tomasi we love, the writer of Batman and Robin. I haven't seen too much art by Alison Borges. I think she's done the current Arkham.
I've heard her name before. I just don't remember what she's done.
Something that we've actually read. So this is right after the video game. We will have already figured out who the Arkham Knight is, and this is going to be the origin and telling us how the Arkham Knight came to this point. I think the game is already going to tell us, but if you want more information and a detailed view of the background of the Arkham Knight, that's what this comic is for.
I think it's a pretty cool idea. I don't think it's going to sell a lot.
I agree.
Because we're going to play the video game, and that's going to be way better than the comic, and we'll be like, okay, We're satisfied now. But it's a good idea. It pulls people from the game into the comics. So you have a little kid who plays the game, absolutely loves it, and says, well, let me go read this comic. And then by reading that comic, he says, well, let me read more comics.
Very good point. That actually does work, believe it or not, Brokettes. Working at a comic shop, I've seen kids and teenagers and adults come in and they played The Last of Us video game and they actually want to read the American Dreams comic book, which is The Last of Us. Mortal Kombat right now is very hot, and I do have people coming in and they want to pick up the Mortal Kombat trade, which has all the issues, or the individual ones, which are available. They have second printings and they're out there. And Arkham Knight is one that we did sell out of the first week it came out. We obviously got more copies, and that is selling steadily as well. So absolutely correct. If we can get video gamers that don't normally pick up a lot of comics into the shops, that's good for everyone.
Our last bit of news is finishing up our coverage of MegCon 2015.
You weren't able to come to the Sunday because of work?
No, I was working. Ugh.
But I was able to go and pick up some last minute things.
Mm-hmm.
Saw way more subscribers from the shop, listeners as well, for the Reasons I'm Broke podcast. Again, a great time at MegCon. I want to thank them again for the awesome show. All the staff members as well were on point with this event.
That's awesome.
With the way that they checked the wristbands, with the way that they directed people to the right places.
The way they directed us into the showroom early. Good job, guys.
Yes, very well done. And all that was great. If I had a question, a staff member was not far away for me to access. So overall, everything was an improvement. And from what I'm seeing, for the most part, most of the people that I talked to at the shop about the show enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
They liked it. The only thing I'm seeing is that some people would have wanted bigger guests, and they would have preferred that some of the panels weren't being charged for. But again, I explained that this is to alleviate that problem that they had last year, where people were actually squatting in the previous panel to reach and have a seat at the panel that they wanted. Of course, they could always kick them out and have them get in line, but then if you legitimately want to go to both panels, then you're kind of screwed. So I don't know, maybe they could do a ticket system next year, something that doesn't cost, but you have to actually be there to get a ticket. I'm trying to think of a solution, but for now, this was a better option than what they did last year.
They could have, like, you pre-order tickets. Like, you can say, okay, I'm going to go to these, and you can print them out.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Prior to the show, and they only have X amount, and then so they let all those people in first, and then if there's still room, then they could be standing only, and they can let people in after that.
Or if they, well, I don't know if this would work so much if you're buying your ticket at a retail location, but if you go online, maybe do something like the Fast Passes at Disneyland and Disney World.
Yeah, Disney.
You can choose your top 3 panels you want to attend or something, and then ahead of time they'll put people in those panels according to priority, and then they'll put you in the next one if that one doesn't work. So maybe something like that. I don't know.
I think that's still a few years down the road, but it's a good idea.
Yeah, and it could be that Fan Expo has a better system already in place, which if you haven't heard yet, they purchased MegCon. They've ran the Dallas Fan Expo and Canadian Fan Expo, of course. But for my Sunday, it was great. There was plenty of people there. There were tons of cosplayers. There were some good sales going on with people trying to, unload product, and a lot of the artists did great. I picked up the Alvin Lee Harley Quinn commission.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I posted it up on our Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Tumblr, everywhere. It came out great. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece. Harley Quinn in her classic Jester outfit. If you've seen it, you gotta agree. He did an amazing job.
Yes, absolutely. And he actually did another one also that you showed me a picture of. Both were beautiful, but I'm kind of partial to ours.
Yeah. He also did a new Thor one with the current Thor that we have.
Awesome.
That one turned out great. He said that was his first time drawing her. And he posted up a Batman that he did at MegCon, and he did say that he had 4 Harley Quinn commissions.
That's
and
awesome.
He's like, I don't understand why this character is so popular. And I'm like, do you know who Harley Quinn is? You must not know who Harley Quinn is. I understand the lack of, like, well, she's cool, but she's not this great. And I do agree. Like, the current version of Harley, I'm like, this much hype is kind of a lot, but it's selling a lot of product. It's getting people's attention to the Mad Love classic stories, and it's a character that people love, and I'm never going to fault people for who they actually like. They're all reading comics. There's a character out there for everyone.
Like Deckard from Bee and Puppy Cat.
Yeah, I'm sure that's someone's favorite. As far as the rest of the show, I don't remember if we talked about this last time, but MegCon will have a 4-day pass next week or next year.
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, they're going to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Done. There goes more money from my wallet.
That makes me think I'm going to go Thursday and Sunday, unless some guests will only show up Friday, because Thursday's too early. I'm not sure. But does this mean the ticket prices could go up? Does this mean they can get better guests? Does this mean there's going to be more, a bigger cap on the capacity of people they can actually have there? Because now it's 4 days. This is good news to me regardless, because this is telling me that Fan Expo has the confidence to say this show is so big, it can cover 4 days. It can do the 4-day thing that New York Comic Con does or San Diego Comic Con does. And there is a gap to fill here in Florida.
Well, I agree 100%. I think even last year it was big enough for 4 days, or the year before that. This is such a big convention, and we didn't go Saturday this year because Saturday was so bad last year that I-4 was backed up for 4 hours and you just couldn't make it there. So if you're splitting those guests between that day and, an extra Thursday, it's more enjoyable for everybody. And they'll probably make more money because you don't have people stuck in I-4. They're actually in your showroom.
With Fan Expo actually buying MegCon, I will ask you this. Are you against them changing the name to Orlando Fan Expo? I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not saying I have inside news. This is just me speculating.
Right. This isn't a fair question because changing the name does not change what the convention is. But I am partial to MegCon. It's been MegCon. It's been my MegCon for years. I think when we first started dating, I had been to a MegCon even before that. So, we're talking a lot of years. Mm-hmm. And I know if we changed it to Orlando Fan Expo, it'd be the exact same convention. But I love the name MegCon. Like, it's mine,
Some of the things that the biggest conventions share is that it has the city's name in the convention itself.
I know.
San Diego Comic-Con.
MegOrlandoCon.
I'm cool with that. MegOrlandoCon.
MegOrlandoCon.
That might be the episode of the show. I don't know yet.
The episode of the show?
Or the name of this episode. We'll see what else happens for the rest of the show.
That's going to be the name of it.
Final thanks to all the guests, all the staff of MegCon, and to MegCon themselves. We appreciate it, and we look forward to covering it next year again.
Yes, just push us right in that showroom early. No problem.
And we'll be just as confused.
I'd be like, what? But then I'd still go purchase things. I like that they sold us things early, too.
We did look like noobs in there, like, ooh, like they could easily tell.
Because I was so confused, though, because I was like, are we really in the showroom?
We had no sense of purpose, like, oh, we got to bring out our product, and we got to vacuum this piece. Like, we were just
everybody
was
like setting up stuff, and I was like, you guys better hurry because they're letting them in like 5 minutes.
I'm gonna buy some stuff soon, so is the register up?
Here's my money. It's good here.
I wanted to take photos too. I'm like, can I take photos of this right now? Like, I don't know. I
don't know why you couldn't. We're press.
Yeah, but this isn't technically the event.
When they're like, what are you doing? Be like, it's my blog.
Blog.
my readers need to know about things. Click, 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 click. That's what you should have done. Perfect. We'll do that next year.
Another convention, we're doing like, not the road to Omni Expo, but little teases. We're going to do Batman v Superman style teases coming up. Whatever connects us to better viewers and whatnot.
Do you Omni Expo? You will.
So we have our Nerd Up Media Podcasting 101 panel. That's going to be on the weekend of May 22nd through the 24th at the Rosen Center Hotel in Orlando, Florida.
Join the Nerd Up Media crew as we go through how you can get started on a podcast or a Let's Play channel. We'll share what has worked for us, our experiences, and how social media can help you grow and build your fan base. We will also have a Q&A to discuss general comic book and video game news.
Announcing today, and on the rest of the shows on the Nerd Up Media Network, you may have heard it on the other ones, but we will have the regular giveaways that I'm not going to say what they are yet, but we're also going to have a huge one probably at the very end of the panel.
I want to know what it is. You haven't told me.
I'll tell you after the show.
Can I win it?
No, you can't. It is something big provided to us by Lazy Gaming Guys. Scott is bringing something for the Nerd Up Media viewers and the brand new people that are going to join the Nerd Up Media family. We're going to do, I don't know if we're going to do a raffle, if we're going to do something with the Q&A. It's going to be something big that everyone has a chance to win at. But that's only if you actually go to the Omni Expo and attend our panel. You can find more of the panel information at the Omni Expo website.
You know what you should do? I hear this on the radio all the time. You should post something on Twitter, and the first person there who mentions it gets the thing.
That's good. I think we'll do that.
Smart.
I think we'll do that for one of the giveaways. Absolutely.
Is it a Pikachu Charizard?
It is not a Pikachu Charizard. You can stop guessing because you might actually guess it. So.
But I can't win it.
You can't win it. No.
Well, then there's no point.
There's point to all the people that are going to be there to check out the panel and check out all of us. You personally, I know, wouldn't want this.
I don't want it?
No.
So it's not...
You personally, but it's awesome. It's awesome for someone out there. Stop guessing. That's all I'm going to say. I'll tell you after we record the show.
Keeping secrets from your wife.
Finally, Audible trial offer. You get a free audiobook with your trial when you sign up at audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia. Head there, brokettes.
And now we can move into our comic book news. We have mostly indie books this week with some DC and some Marvel.
I do want to say, if brokettes ever want to know ahead of time which books we're going to review for that week, follow us on Instagram, which is The Reasons I'm Broke, Facebook.com/The Reasons I'm Broke, or at Reasons I'm Broke without the on it. Usually on Thursdays, I post up a picture of our comic book pickups for the week.
While you're on any of those places, check out my funny dance.
For the Daredevil opening.
Yes.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that yet, that is on our Instagram. First book this week, we have 4 indie books. First one being Capture Creatures number 3.
Kappa creatures. Kappa creatures. Kappa creatures. It's an 80s cartoon now.
It is.
So I thought this book fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we saw the last issue, and that is a trend with independent books.
Oh, you independent books. So this is Capture Creatures number 3. It's written by Frank Gibson with art by Becky Dreystadt, and the colorist is Joseph Bergen III and Lynn Vissel.
Do you think a 2 to 3 month delay is hurting a book like this? Because I can tell you, I wasn't as excited to read this third part as I was when I first read the series.
I agree, and I was kind of confused too, because we get a masked lady, and I was like, where did she come from? But I'm sure she was in the last one, I just don't remember.
And then they introduce another character at the very end, which if they take this long to do number 4, then I'm just not going to care. And to be honest, after reading this, I'm not going to be reading the rest of these issues, because if the story has not been compelling enough in these 3 issues, I usually give it a 3-issue chance, and the fact that it's had this gap in schedule. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the second one just came out this month, and it has the exact same problem. And it came out back in November.
That was forever ago.
I know, and the second issue just came out this week, and I'm like, you can't do that. Like, if anything, do... Oh, you know what else is doing this? The Secret Six.
Yeah.
With Gail Simone.
Yeah, it is. What they need to do in that situation, I feel, is complete an arc and then start releasing the books.
So go the Saga route, where you do 6 months of work, and then you take a break, and then you do some more 6 months.
I mean, Saga just needs to release every week.
Well, it'd be delayed as well. You'd get 1 issue maybe next month, maybe in 3 months. This is why they take the pause. That guarantees consistency.
Right, but Saga just needs to be every week. Saga needs to be every day. They can just give me a new issue every day, and I'd be okay with that. But yes, go the Saga route, which... As much as I hate it because I love Saga and I would love to have a new installment all the time, it is really smart because then you give people a chance to catch up. I'm on a break for 6 months. Here, read this whole arc.
What about a book as mainstream from the big Secret Six, from Gail Simone, DC Comics? That is a book that DC doesn't really do a thing where they take 6 months off and then they release a comic. They're all about, it has to be out every month, and they're strict about that. So if you're the editor or whatever of Secret Six, do you just go, this artist, it's not Gail Simone. She's never been late like this, as far as I know. She's always been very consistent in her writing. And obviously she has time to write because she's always tweeting and on Tumblr and everything. So to me, I'd be like, look, if the artist isn't cutting it, even if Gail's protesting, like, no, keep the artist, I think he's fine, move forward, like, get another artist.
I agree. The thing they have to look out, though, is how does it affect their sales? So, yes, you have, a 3-month gap. Now look at the numbers. Did that affect your sales? If it didn't, then obviously your team is good and go ahead and keep who you have. But if you see a drop, then you know something needs to change.
Or if we see another delay again.
Right.
The 2 it's too much, I think. Like, even 1, in this competitive market of comic books, people have so many choices in the digital books and the physical books and trade paperbacks. Original stories are a thing now. And all this other content, not even including media, YouTube, television, all this other stuff that's taking your time. And in the comic book world, you just have to be that much more on point. But this is not my pass of the week. Like, yes, we're dropping it. And for different reasons, a different comic will be my pass.
Our next book is Giant Days number 2. This is written by John Allison with art by Lisa Trayman. And the colorist is Whitney Kogar.
So it was an adorable story. It doesn't continue the story that we set up in the Giant Days #1, and that's kind of what I wanted to see. Although they do hint at one of the character relationships that we saw in the last one that isn't really working, and how nasty it's actually getting in this issue. But instead, the main thing is the girls being cute and trying to deal with this, with an illness that they have in all their different quirky ways, and I loved it.
I thought it was great too. It was so much fun. We're getting to learn more about the characters, and even though it's a different story from what we saw in the first one, you still see a little bit of theme. So, like you said, you still see that relationship and how I think it's going to turn around, because the girl's real bitter, but Mustache Man is real not bitter. Mm-hmm. And now I think we're going to see a new arc, because you have those boys who are hitting on the creepy girl.
Oh, they're creepy too.
Well, yeah, they're real creepy. But anyway, I think that's going to lead somewhere. And we're going to see that explored in the next. Overall, they're just creating a great friendship that's just so much fun to watch. And everybody has their own little place in this world. And it all fits together perfectly and very realistic.
Yeah, it was almost my pick of the week if it weren't for another one. Giant Days was that good. If you can find it, best of luck. It is a low print book, unfortunately. I'm hoping that they actually, Boom prints out way more of these. That's the second print of issues 1 and 2, because this is a book that they should read. Next is Hex #9, written by Michael Allen Nelson, art by Dan Mora, and colors by Gabriel Casada.
This book's starting to lose me a little bit.
It lost me too. This is almost also my pass of the week. Jesus, I have another one. But it's one of those books that I'm also not going to continue forward with, unfortunately. It's too bad. And this is a problem that we had with this book from the beginning, which we did enjoy for the most part.
Right.
But we did always say that there wasn't a consistency in the storytelling and in the pacing, and that was the biggest issue. And I feel like it's the worst in #9.
I agree. We, of course, in the last issue before, we lost Val, so then Lucifer goes and becomes this crazy secret capture creature keeper. And we actually see what becomes of the previous secret keeper, but then you don't really know their relationship, because is it really who she says she is? And I'm very confused. And then we have Bob. Who's Bob? Was that her bodyguard? I think that was Val's bodyguard.
It was Val's. Well,
right.
the other character that passed away, her bodyguard, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we went from him having 2 lines to being one of the main characters.
You can't do that either.
Out of nowhere, and that didn't make any sense. And then you have the intern that we've seen from the beginning, who said all this stuff was cray-cray, and now she's all in it. And it was all over the place. I can see what they were trying to do and where they were trying to go, but you can't change characters that drastically right in the middle of your story.
Especially if there's not a love story like we thought there would be in the first arc.
Yeah, with
Painting
Tuxedo
Man,
Mask. I mean, Painting Man.
Oh well, they're not always going to be good ones,
Yep.
and sometimes we do have to drop books. Unfortunately, Hex is one of them. Is Capture Creatures one of them? For me, it is. I'm not going to read it.
Yeah, probably. It's just we're focusing too much on the humans and less on the Capture Creatures.
And the art is still great on that book. And if you're liking the art, by all means, keep checking it out for that. But I need a little more.
I need Ash to run and be like, no, guys! Don't capture the creatures!
Well, I thought he was going to say, don't cancel the books. Like, keep reading.
Yes, he can do that too.
Daniel Kelly!
But we need to glare at him and he needs to turn into stone, and then the books need to cry. And we hear, brother, my brother. I got a song. Wait. Tell me, what are we canceling for?
Our final indie book this week is Lumberjanes #13.
This is written by Shannon Waters and Noelle Stevenson, with art by Brooke A. Allen, and the colorist is Marta Lyhow.
A jumping on point for any new readers out there.
Yes, this, I actually feel like it's going to be a one-shot. Or that it was a one-shot.
Yes, it is a one-shot story, but it is like that breather in the series.
Yes, so we jump back in time to see pretty much all the girls' first days. And you get to see their families and where they all come from, and it was a whole lot of fun.
A lot of fun, very diverse with the characters, with their backgrounds, of course. And I felt like we did need this, because if anyone, for the last arc, we focused on 2 characters in specific and their relationship, and now they brought it all back to the center of the rest of the Lumberjanes and showed you why some of them may be hurt by their past, or why some of them are so confident in themselves and in their friends. And that, to me, kind of made this great summary to the series as a whole, and really, not only is it a perfect jumping on point, but it's a perfect build up to the rest of the story and what they're going to end up doing in the future. Because if you ever want to refer to any of the characters on their origins, it's going to be a number 13, and that's why it's going to be my pick of the week.
Really? This is your pick of the week? It was a very good issue, even though we were in it. You don't believe me, but we were there.
There's a redhead in there that is coupled with a big brown guy who looks nothing like me.
He's Hispanic.
He's only the only thing we shared is that he's Hispanic and I'm brown. He was really big.
He married a redhead.
He had short hair. He had a mustache.
He had a beard.
You call that a beard? This is a beard. Like what I'm wearing on my face right now, coming out of my face, that is a beard. And these handsome features with the glasses look nothing like me.
But I mean, it's us. We are that couple. Except we don't have 9 children.
In essence, fine. We don't have 9 misbehaved kids.
They were all misbehaved. They were terrible.
Yeah, they were.
But you notice her kids look nothing like her. Like my children would look nothing like me.
True, they'd all be... All my darkness would just overtake your DNA.
Yes. People would be like, oh, is this your babysitter? Is this your friend? I don't understand.
Stepmom?
Exactly. It'd be terrible. But yes, very good. I can see why it was your pick of the week.
On to our only Marvel book this week, and that is Thor number 7, written by Jason Aaron, art by Russell Dauterman, and colors by Matthew Wilson.
So, in this one, we finally get the reveal of who Lady Thor is.
Yes, don't let the solicitation to number 8, which is the next issue, fool you. If you have any amount of competence at all, you know who the new Thor is from this issue.
Well, now, I did have a Lex Luthor moment when we found out who she was.
What, how so?
I went, I don't know who this is.
I don't want to tell people which character it is or which comic they should... comic book shops everywhere should probably put up in price. We already did it, of course, I think a week ago. Mm-hmm. But the mystery does get solved in this, and then we get the official reveal in the next issue. I think it comes out later on this month. I'm not sure, because they've been doing 2 per month for Thor lately. But it's good story still. I like the conflict that she has with Thor's father. I think that's a lot of fun. And now that Thor the Odin's son trusts the new Thor and is going to introduce her to the rest of his friends, I think that'll help new readers like us get familiar with the Thor universe. Mm-hmm.
I agree, because I have no idea what's going on. I know Thor, and Papa Thor, and Mama Thor, and Loki Thor, and the guy with the red eyes.
And the ferryman.
The ferryman, I know him.
And the not Etrigan.
And the not Etrigan, who turns into... I always, whenever I see Minotaurs, think of the Wishbone episode, because it scared the shit out of me.
There was a Minotaur in Wishbone?
Yeah, he was talking about some Minotaur in a maze, and we never actually saw the Minotaur, but he was there, and it still haunts me, and it's been like 20 years.
But I think the fact that we know so little about Thor and are still 7 issues in and loving it, I think that's great that's a great sign of writing. So if you ever want to jump in on Thor, do not hesitate. Most of the comic shops have those 4th printings of Thor number 1.
4th.
It's really successful.
That's
and
awesome.
And if you want to read the story,
wonderful.
Who gives a shit if it's the 4th, 5th, 16th printing? Read the story. Mm-hmm. And there'll be a trade out soon as well. So if you want to save money, get the soft cover and then pick up, issues 7 or 8, whichever one they don't include in the book.
Now we can move into our last 2 books. Both are DC. The first one is Convergence, number 2 of 8. This is written by Jeff King with art by Carlo Pagulayan. Did I pronounce that right?
That sounds right to me, yeah. Pagulayan.
Yeah, Pagulayan. And the colorist is John Starr and Peter Sturgewald.
I see Stegerwald. Stegerwald.
It's probably German.
Yeah, it's a white people name. You should know this one.
Stegerwald. I went a little Irish there. I apologize.
I saw you spit all over the mic.
I did. Flogen, Fragen, Flogen.
That's German back. Now you're back to German.
Hefenweisen.
Convergence number 2 is actually my pass of the week.
Really? Because that's my
Yes.
pick of the week.
Wow. Okay, complete opposites
so
here.
Weird.
I will tell you why it's my pass of the week, and you can tell me why you like it. to me, this entire issue read like a 10-year-old story. To me, this wasn't the New 52 universe that we enjoy, nor should it be, because it is Convergence. It is introducing these older characters to a new audience, and we've read the pre-New 52 Batman before, and they make their appearance here. Earth 2 cast is in here somewhere, and Thomas Wayne, of course, interacting with Batman, but it wasn't as heartfelt or as deep as I thought it was. And the bubbles, the thought bubbles, and this is keeping it spoiler free, but the narration to that encounter took away from that moment so much, in which it should have been told by maybe one or two words from the two Batmen, and we didn't get that. Instead, it was like a book from the 70s, like, and then the two men looked at each other. It didn't do it for me. It was such a weak impact.
See, I didn't pull that from that at all. But it's probably because I'm a woman and this was Nightwing's thoughts.
Nightwing's what?
They were all all the word bubbles. Those were Nightwing's thoughts. That was all Grayson talking.
Grayson, okay.
Yeah.
That's why I got confused. I'm like, Nightwing wasn't in this.
Well,
just say Robin. Like,
okay, Robin. No, Grayson. So, all the stuff with the actual people fighting Brainiac, I didn't care about any of that nonsense.
I thought that was cool, especially with the Green Lantern.
Nah, man. Well, the Green Lantern himself is pretty cool. I think that's a great concept, and I think it's really smart to have these guys as the main ones in Convergence, because I feel like we all know the actual Justice League, but now we're getting to learn new characters. Really cool for me. But I didn't care about that nonsense. This book got me from, like, the very beginning, when you see Grayson, like, trying to escape his world with his son. His son from Barbara Gordon.
Spoilers. Jesus.
Oh, man.
So many.
Sorry. Whoopsies. And that's only the beginning. That's fine. I won't spoil any of the rest of it. But you see that emotion and what he feels carry throughout the entire book. Even the moment with the two Batmans, it all relates back to that.
I can see that. And this is not a worse book than Capture Creatures or the Hex issue earlier, but the reason it's my pass of the week, and it's more of an emotional decision, and that's because I was more disappointed with the outcome of this second issue, and it is a weekly, so maybe next week's is going to be way better. And the writer, Jeff King, is actually a screenwriter, so this does read differently than a comic book, so there are going to be growing pains, and maybe he does take his time a little bit more because he writes it as it would be an episode or a film, and that's okay. I don't know. This one really did not do it for me, but it did set up some cool stuff, and hopefully once the ball gets rolling, it is only issue 2. Once we get to like issue 6 or 7, I'm sure there'll be some crazy shit going on by then, and that's only in a couple of weeks too, because it is a weekly. So
in the middle of Convergence, I want, like, all the worlds are fighting, and Ash runs out, and he's like, no.
The third time.
I'm gonna keep this going. That's my thing this week. Is Ash. You got me started on Ash. It's not gonna stop.
So your pick of the week, my pass of the week. Yep. Convergence number 2. The final book this week on The Reasons I'm Broke is Teen Titans Go number 9, written by Shali Fish and Meryl Hagan, art by Jorge Corona, and colors by Jeremy Lawson.
I wonder how often Jorge gets asked what his favorite beer is.
Probably all the time. He comes up a lot on the podcast. I feel like he does way more than just Teen Titans on our pile.
I want somebody to ask him, and he'd be like, "It's Heffenweisen." Just something real
not Mexican.
So I think I'm liking this series a whole lot more than you are.
Yes, you were cracking up during this issue, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to read that. And then I read it, and I was like, what was she laughing at?
All the funny things. Robin singing, "I can show you the world," and then she's like, "Let it go."
See, you are a Disney person. You absolutely are a Disney person. Just admit it. The quicker you admit it, the sooner everything will be happy.
No, you're just going to keep, like, Disney? Everything's happy in Disney.
Well, you see, that's why
because you're just, if I ever say, not that I'm saying this, that I am a Disney person, you're not going to stop calling me a Disney person.
I will once you actually admit it.
No,
and
you won't.
I'll do it way less.
No,
that's for sure.
No, you'll do it still the same amount, maybe more. You'll be like, see, you're a Disney person like you admitted you were in episode number...
Same goes with Kingdom of Hearts. If you just start referring to it as Kingdom of Hearts...
It's not Kingdom of Hearts, it's Kingdom Hearts.
I would stop calling it that.
And if you admitted that the star in Star Fox is named Star Fox, then we'd all be okay.
Well, that's not going to happen because that's not true.
Okay,
and it is true that you're a Disney person.
It's not called Kingdom of Hearts,
Fine,
though.
Agreed. I will agree with that, but you are a Disney person.
I'm not a Disney person,
that is the truth.
Kingdom Hearts does have a lot of Disney themes, but that doesn't make me a Disney person.
Well, there is a lot of Disney in this. The first story on the Teen Titans Go involves a staring contest between the whole Titans, and the second story is all about Starfire and her evil sister, I'm assuming. I don't remember this from the TV show.
Space Jail. You don't remember Blackfire? She was a bitch.
I didn't see all of Teen Titans, honestly.
Oh, man,
I wasn't as hooked on it as
I loved that show.
the world was.
Man, and then Starfire had to marry this, like, slug thing, and then Robin's like, nah, man, that's my woman. But he never admitted that he liked her.
I'm glad you like the series, though, and a lot of kids and readers are, because I have a hard time keeping this in stock at the shop. It's like, I order more, hey, can you please order more issues of everything they have, times 3, times 4, and then it disappears.
It's fun. It's what older TV shows did that was great, where it's a lot of fun for kids, but then it has things that adults, like pulp culture, that adults can appreciate as well.
The main complaint about Teen Titans Go still, even today, with people, anytime some Teen Titans Go happens, you'll have the people our age or a little bit younger that say, yeah, but it's not the serious Teen Titans that I grew up with.
Well, then watch Young Justice. Same diff.
Well, and people will say that about Young Justice in the future. And I felt like that Teen Titans episode from about a month ago where they were all serious and dark and brooding. I don't know if
I never saw that
one. I felt like that was a response to the fans.
Oh, it probably was.
It's like, what else do you want out of the show? Like, they have the original voice actors, the original designs as well, just redesigned to fit the tone of the cartoon. And they have a lot of the inside jokes from the older cartoon that you grew up with worked into the show. Including in the comic, too, with her sister and everyone else.
I mean, I guess the equivalent for us would be if they made a sillier Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I'd still watch it because I liked Avatar.
Well, agree. I would still watch it also, but then you could argue, well, it wasn't the Avatar that was serious that I fell in love with.
Yeah, and that one's still there. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
And the New Teen Titans is very successful. It's a huge cartoon. It's big for the comic book. A lot of kids are liking it. And a lot of kids are discovering the older show through this cartoon because kids are very smart, especially with computers. They research all the time like, oh, well, this is the original Slade Wilson, who is actually Deathstroke, who is actually, and they just continue the line until the cartoon, into the comics, into the upcoming movies, if they make an appearance. It's all there, and it's just whenever there's a waypoint or a funnel that people can get access to the newer material, or when it's like us where we can catch, oh, that is a good reference. I think it's all good stuff.
Agreed. It's unfortunate that other people don't see it that way, but I can see both sides of it.
And that will do it for the comics and the podcast this week. My pick of the week was Lumberjanes number 13.
My pick of the week was Convergence number 2.
Which was my pass of the week.
And I don't know that I actually have a pass.
No,
all the rest were enjoyable.
Okay, that's good. So you had a very happy comic book week.
Yes, I did.
Awesome. So we do want to remind Brokettes out there that we do have a brand new color on the nerdupmedia.com/shop link, and that is pink.
Beautiful shirt. It's like almost a boo pink from Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's not quite a hot pink, and it's not a bubblegum pink. It's right in between.
It's a boo pink.
Yeah.
And it does have
pink.
A white logo on it. However, we do still have the original colors that we carried before as well.
By the way, not officially Majin Pink, because we want to keep them away from us, like off our back, so...
They'll kill us like Warner Brothers.
Much slower.
With some Kamehamehas.
Lawyer Kamehamehas?
Yes, and some lawyer spirit bombs. But then I can go by Bulma.
So that is for a donation of $16.99. You get to pick between pink, which is that new color, red, gray, black, or blue.
These all come in a variety of men's and women's sizes, so you can pick the one that fits you best, and then it will be mailed with a kiss. Not really. With love.
If you also want to help us out, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find the link to all of those at nerdupmedia.com, where we do have the rest of the shows on our network. That includes other podcasts, Let's Plays, other unboxings, like the Read Pile, Those Two Jerks, Lazy Gaming Guys, Bacon in the Oven, it's all there. Once again, nerdupmedia.com.
And that will do it for our podcast this week. Thank you everyone for listening. I'm Kelli.
And I'm Daniel.
We'll see you next week.